Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Small Roles, a D&D podcast where there are no small roles and no small infiltration to prepare for.
Huzzah!
Ooh,
Huzzah!
Sneaky.
I'm David Knight, your Dungeon Master, and I'm joined by these well-rested interlopers, so say hi, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Oh, it's nice to have had a rest.
How many episodes did we not have a rest?
I think it was like 6 in the end.
Yeah,
God.
a long time.
This is only our second day in Fall or Fail.
It's only our second day in the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, so you've all got one day to get yourselves ready, and yep, considering how long that first day took, let's get on with it.
Episode
Let's crack on
17.
with these next 18 episodes.
Interrogation, yeah.
So let's cue the theme tune.
Prepare your party of players and polyhedral dice. Your tragic backstory better be worth the sacrifice. Seize your sheets and D20. Let's play D&D. Your haggard character swaggers with daggers in each hand. You've all discussed what you must, but even better laid plans. Take a turn when checks are missed.
Roll initiative. Brandish your blades. Don't fail your saves. No risk too great, no choice to roll. This is your story. No guts, no glory. Confront your fate with every roll. Every
rises inside, one who will pay the price. Their chance of success will rest upon the dice. No risk too great, no choice too bold. This is No Small Roles.
So, after returning to Deromanet House, a visitor arrived to speak with you. Arcanist Zeravir Tarek. Upstairs, however, Gwendolyn spoke briefly with her father and sister via a magical sending stone, learning that Carhilda had been a name bestowed on her by her mother, though it was meant to be kept a secret, especially from Orcosians.
Classic.
Rejoining the group, you all settled in for a chat with Zeravir, who sealed the room from outside divinations. She began to question the coincidence of your involvement in Tillisham, Rosthall, and now Forlos Vale, informing you that any mention of your group was being redacted in official records. She also expressed her concerns that Pellegrini had not been taken to the usual holding pens when arrested, but instead to Archmagus Petrogranius' estate. Whilst you spoke, something unseen probed Enkidu's and Juna's minds, and as you neared the end of the conversation, Arcanist Clane Eovet ended his invisibility, proclaiming his confidence in your trustworthiness. The two Arcanists rather indirectly informed you that they planned to have the Archmagus away from her estate the day after tomorrow, distracting her with a tour of the Consortium for Time and Prevost. Eovet also wanted a lengthy discussion with Axis or Wingthrup about the Children of Havoc at the same time. Leaving you with a packet of edible orbs that granted invisibility and protection from divination magics, the Arcanists left. You then made your way back to the Feather Pillow, collecting a Consortium application for Orin as you went, before settling in for a long rest. So, what happened during the night?
Ruana came back.
Ruana came back!
Yay!
She's back as a micro owlbear because adorable.
Because adorable.
No, retcon. We're about to do something where we need her to not be adorable. Let's make her an owl again.
Like stealthy owl. You're just not doing the bear part this time.
Yeah. A micro owl. A little tiny owl.
Yeah.
Is she like the same kind of mottled colour and things that she is as an owlbear as an owl? Or is it like a completely new form for her?
She has been an owl before. She was an eyebrowy owl.
So the horned owl?
I think she's more like, when she was a micro owlbear, I think she was more like barn owly. So she's a bit more like a little one of those.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Cool.
Enkidu slipped out the window.
Oh.
So he waited
What, during the night?
During the night. He waited until he was sure everyone was asleep. And then he slipped out the window to his room and into the streets. Stuck to the shadows, moving quickly because it was late when he got back in. Using the character feature, Criminal Contact, we'll find that that wee little lass from the beginning of our little adventure in Flawless Vale. Let's see if we can get some word to her.
I will say that just at time of day that she works, you probably won't find her in the middle of the night. But again, with that same Criminal Contact feature, absolutely, you know what you're looking for in shady dealings. Especially, like, you've spent a day in this city now, and some of that you spent sat watching people as well. So you have a sense of who it is. So you do manage to find someone, a sort of young half-elf, tan skin, as much as you can see in the dark, drawn back hair into a little ponytail, who is very, kind of got one of those big coats, like, the lapels up, but it's like they're trying to overly disguise themselves in some way, and you're like, it's 4:00 in the morning at this point, what are you doing, mate?
Exactly, yeah.
But they notice you're noticing of them, kind of pause a moment and like cross the street over to you.
Classic, like, park bench scenario, and one looks one way and one looks the other.
Yeah.
And I'll just whisper, well met, no names, only money talks. Children of Havoc, Rings is missing. Looking for information on any eyes on him, movements of the children, and what our six-sided friends are doing in response. Then I will slip them 5 gold.
And they kind of like glance down at it. For that information? Double that.
I will look to their eyes menacingly. Excuse me, do you want to try that again?
The glare is met, like, not coldly back, but there is a slight amusement in it of like, all right, he means business. But they don't say anything.
Okay. You can have 7. A guaranteed opportunities for more.
7, and I'll see what I can find out. How long are you going to be around here for?
I'll be here for at least 2 days.
Give me an hour.
You have an hour? Hand them 7 gold.
Cool. Slide it across the bench, straight into a pocket, get up and walk away from you fairly swiftly.
Sweet.
How long do you wait there for?
I'll fly up onto a rooftop. Like, if there's, like, something that's not a house. And I'll just see if I can keep watch from there.
Yeah, there are a few buildings sort of where you found yourself that are slightly more shop-based. They're clearly closed up for the night, and there's nobody inside of them, you can imagine.
Okay.
Or at least maybe somebody living in a back room or something like that, but at the very least, the lights are all out. There's no candles anywhere.
Okay. I'll hide behind, if there's like a lip to the roof, some kind of like thing like that. I'll just dump myself behind there, but just keeping eyes on where I just was.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually about an hour and a half that goes past.
Yeah, I thought so.
Before they come back. But they do come back.
Okay.
And they just position themselves exactly the same spot back on the bench.
Is there anyone else around?
No.
I'll slide down the wall.
I won't make you roll for it, don't worry.
Yeah, all right, go on.
You clatter to the ground.
Thanks. Took your time. What'd you find?
Not a lot. They're aware of some movement, but they're happy to explain what they know to you face to face.
Who? The children? Or the Hex?
The Hex. They work out of a place called the Queen's Comb down in Floodthorpe.
Okay.
You're welcome there. Someone will meet you.
I got you.
All right.
I'll see you around.
Best of luck to you, my friend.
And you.
And again, stand up, walk off, swift as anything.
Yeah. Part ways. I'll go back to the inn, flying through the window. And then I'll just take a nap until the sun comes up.
As you're making your way back in, can you make a stealth check?
Yeah. That's without a trace.
Blimmin' warlocks.
Good thing I did. Because I rolled a 2. But that's 8 plus 10. So that's 18.
18's enough. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody else's passive perception is that high. So yeah, just enough. At one point you think, maybe Aggie's seen me. But yeah, whilst she kind of looks at you and watches you come in the window, there's not much more from the little goose.
You know how to keep secrets, don't you, girl?
Are you threatening my goose?
Gaius has done it. Not like anyone knows that Aggie knows that Gaius stole the gold from...
Aggie is full of secrets.
Aggie's full of
Aggie
secrets.
has seen
Only there was a way of getting information out of
If
her.
Aggie...
If only.
Yeah,
If we ever betrayed, we should suspect Aggie first.
I know how we could get the information out of her. When she makes a cup of tea, then we read the tea leaves and the secrets are there.
Yeah!
I've cracked the code.
If Gaius hears that,
I've solved your puzzle.
she won't make it till dawn.
Would anyone like a tween tie?
If Juna's going down the cleric route, she can learn divination, right?
Oh, Daryl, you just spoiled something I was about to do.
Oh no! Enkidu sleeps.
It's my new level up spell, Daryl. I just was thinking, like, what question to ask about what we're about to do. So now we can talk about it.
So, in which case, the morning comes around a few hours later. Who's up first? What's happening?
Juna's up early having a chat with Ruana, and when the others come down, they hear her be like, "Well, that is quite the adventure you went on, Ruana," and that's all they hear about that.
Thanks. Suffer much.
What a tease.
I feel like I need a whole adventure of that. Cut that if we don't do it.
Optional retcon.
Optional retcon. Optional retcon. Please, can we have a spin-off chat show called Optional Retcon?
It would just be a cassette boy kind of like tape of every time we've said it.
Just remix the episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Good barkeep, we will have several plates of breakfast, please.
7 plates of breakfast, all right. And they rush off and start cooking up stuff. More egg drop soup for you all.
Our favourite. When Orin comes down, he's going to be busy tinkering on a few things while he's waiting for brekkie and tea.
Is any of it obvious that he's...
Yes. Aggie is on the table, and there seems to be rolls of paper and a quill of some description, and her neck is currently not attached to the rest of her. Well, Orin is sort of feeding bits of paper and attaching a quill in various ways, and then eventually reattaching the neck back onto the rest of Aggie and booting her back on again.
Orin, what are you doing?
Well, I've had a bit of an idea, inspired by our incident on the boat, with the non-talking ghost. Well, I was just thinking it would be really useful, if Aggie could, actually report what she sees.
Enkidu slowly lowers his mug of coffee down.
Just preempted this entire episode.
Yeah.
Guy somehow like synchronizes the same like lowering of coffee. So both of them just like drop it, beads of sweat start to form.
Can I roll perception to see if I notice that from Guy?
Yes, go on, insight.
Insight check. So that's
Orin is too busy
15.
fiddling with the goose to see.
15. There is some... Yeah, you notice it, I'd say. You don't know why, but there is suspicion.
I'm just going to hold his gaze, just no judgment. Just like, bro.
That guy glances at you and immediately looks away.
Orin, that is very clever.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I just thought it'd be more useful if she can actually report what's going on. And then he'll give it a go with just getting her to report the last 10 minutes of what she's experienced in only the last 10 minutes and see how that goes.
Yeah, so it does take a bit of time for the paper to come out, and like the first few sentences, where she's getting used to this process as well. Like, I almost imagine that they're like printing out of her mouth. Like her little beak opens and like there's just like little printer paper almost, like ticker tape coming out.
Yeah, with like little perforated bits that you can like pull with, I think.
Yes, amazing.
Like proper dot matrix like the olden days.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the first few words are like horribly scrawled because she's like, how do I control a quill in my mouth? Thanks, mate. But yeah, then eventually she starts describing all of you coming in and out of the breakfast space, like what it is that you're eating, what it is that you're drinking, all of that, basically detail to detail, the last 10 minutes of what has happened at the breakfast table.
There we go. Oh, extra pancake guy.
That's incredible.
I'm going to say Gwendolyn comes down like halfway through this because she's been like doing some meditating and some stretching and some yoga. She's trying to shake off her grumpiness from the night before. So I can imagine as she comes down, she's like, so what did I miss? And being handed the stream of what's coming out so far. So she's like, oh, the morning report.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's the last 10 minutes.
That starts with Ruana. Oh, that was interesting, Ruana.
Yeah.
So, fellow adventurers, out of interest, with this thing we gotta do tomorrow, what do we need to do beforehand to, like, best prepare ourselves? Like, what's in everyone's agenda, so to speak?
I would like to do a look around the room to see if anybody is listening to our conversation.
Make a perception check.
Can I guide her? Help her? Guide her? I don't have that. But can I help her?
I can guide her for this, can't I?
I'll say you can have advantage, as everybody probably in that moment goes
And starts
glance,
looking around. Glance.
yeah.
Okay, so that is a 19.
19. There are a few other people in the tavern at this time. Again, sort of being served breakfast. A lot of them seem quite sleepy in various ways. Like, there's small conversations happening, but everyone almost looks like they're in their own spaces. Nobody seems to be paying you any attention.
Okay.
Eyes. We need eyes and ears.
Yes.
You
I
know.
mean, we can go somewhere more private before we talk about what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about this here.
No.
But we do need some method of
Talking about it.
talking about it and doing the deed. So,
Yeah.
Well, in previous experiences, like, learned places are always good to get information. So some of us could go there.
Yeah.
We've also got the spoons, because that's why we're in Farlas Vale, after all.
Oh, yes.
Gwendolyn does have a little look at Enkidu for a moment at that and then carries on, just like nodding with what everyone's saying.
But there are 4 spoons here. We could also have a little swing past where we want to look.
Well,
yes,
yes, there's lots of interesting places for tourism we have here, aren't there? We've got this, where were the spoons again? Where did we have to go? Was it Newfoot? I've heard that's an interesting place to go and check out.
Yeah.
Perhaps back to City Hall.
Where were the spoons again? Where was the spoon? Where did it start?
Has anybody got the map to have?
It is in Newford. It's the Noble's Nook that you're after.
Oh,
right.
that's very useful, isn't it? Because that's where we need to go.
So maybe that's our first port of call?
where are we staying?
You're in Brighton.
Brighton. Okay. So,
Okay, it's across the river.
across the river, through Tryst, maybe past Arkenwell, up to Newford. David,
Yes.
when I looked at the form last night with Guy's lovely dancing lights around, is it long? Is it complicated? Would it take a long time to fill in? Do I need extra stuff?
Yeah. So you need it's kind of like all of the basic kind of information: your name, your age, sort of your
dear.
heritage, your
Don't
education, your political alignment, your magical experience, broken down by a school of magic. The reason that you want to join the consortium in 2,000 words, your greatest magical achievement in 2,000 words, a magical treatise that you wish to explore in 2,000 words, why you think Venestad Alessius's compendium is flawed in 2,000 words, and why you think the same compendium is essential to the study of magic in 2,000 words.
Okay, sorry, what was the name of that compendium
I love
again?
that.
That is such a decent bit of detail.
The Venestad Alessius's compendium.
Venestad. Please write that in the chat for me, David. I
will.
just don't even know. Has Orin ever heard of it?
Orin can make an Arcana check,
Oh, yes, please.
I would say.
Okay. So we got some places we should go.
23.
23. Yeah, Orin's come across the name. It's he's a very, very old arcanist, like ancient arcanist, that a lot of magical study is based around his writings. It's a bit like looking at like the works of Isaac Newton, for instance. He's kind of revered in that kind of a way in magical circles.
Okay. And do I know where I might be able to get a copy of that book?
Probably the Arcanist Consortium. It's not rare. It's not a rare book, but you'd have to find a magical study library of some kind.
Okay. So I will also then just say to the group, also, I was reading through the form last night and might need to try and get my hands on a book at some point.
Okay. So, do we want to, like, hit the spoons first or hit information gathering?
Do we want to gather information and then discuss how we want to do things, or have a chat before we go out and about?
I think if we're going to have a bit more of a detailed chat, it might be better to do it back upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But before or after we go out and about?
Maybe before, just quickly.
Yeah. Shall we retire then?
Yes, let's just make sure we've got the things we need for the day ahead.
Oh, yes.
They all very casually leave the breakfast room to go back up.
Taking our tea with us.
As we leave, Guy, like, grabs and, like, forks everyone's, like, leftovers and stuff like that and shoves it in his mouth.
Aggie watches.
Nice.
Akidu will take his cup of coffee upstairs. Just wants to get into the habit of eating and drinking regularly again.
Mm-hmm.
As he goes, he'll tap Orin on the shoulder. Hey, I have an idea for a project, but I have no idea really how it will practically go. Once this whole thing is over with, could I put it to one side and tell you what my idea is?
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully it will help. It'll help us in the long run. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Cool. And he slaps him on the back and carries him going upstairs.
1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, no.
Orin dies.
Oh, no. And Keely just cries.
So, yeah, you secure yourselves back in your room. I almost imagine that the room, even though it's sort of, you've got the bunk beds or whatever, it's almost like a train car in size.
Oh,
so it's a little bit cramped, and everybody's kind of like sat on the beds, like with their feet dangling off or like tucked under, trying to like see each other all at the same time.
Okay.
Nice.
Keely would probably be sat on the floor.
I think Gwendolyn's like standing up in front of everybody. Got a few things that like to work through on the list. Obviously we can all add things in here, but we've not got the whole day. So anyway, first of all, maybe let's lay off calling me Carhilda.
Okay, what are we calling you now?
Bit of a discovery talking to my dad. Apparently it's a secret name my mum gave me and shouldn't use it around the occasion. So, yeah. That is, just call me Deli. My brain feels like it's about to explode with trying to have all these different names.
Deli
is fine.
Deli? Yeah.
Deli the elephant hat. Sorry, it's a tune.
Well, going around as Carhilda for this amount of time have caused you some trouble?
I'm not sure. My father seemed quite shocked that I even knew this name existed. I think because we've been heading south, it should be okay.
Okay.
But
we'll stick to Delhi to be safe.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that it's such a pain to start getting a new name in your head, but I appreciate how well you all did it, and hopefully Delhi at least is closer to Gwendolyn. Yeah. I did also speak to my sister, and it seems like...
Oh, how is she?
As annoying as ever.
Excuse me.
That's all right. Did you have a late night?
I don't sleep.
Bringing your coughs into game.
Aggie looks at Enkidu.
Enkidu just peers over his mug. Raised eyebrows. I dare you.
Yes, it seems that she was the one who said that it would be a good idea to send bounty hunters after me. She's been doing some smoothing over with the Debarges, and I've decided that I'm not going to let it annoy me anymore or make me paranoid anymore. I'm going to still be on my guard, but I'm fed up with these people feeling like they have control over me and who I am. So yeah, that's just my little update.
Juna's gonna give her a big supportive "you go Glen Coco" hug.
So your sister sent the bounty hunters after you?
I mean, not in a intentionally malicious way, purely in a she was annoyed with the way I behaved, quite rightly so, and she had to do a lot of patching up with the Debarges, and she also mentioned that she was also in some talks with the de Lavaux. And I have heard their names mentioned quite a bit recently whilst talking to my family members, and I wondered if any of you might have any information about them. I'm starting to wonder how deeply they're involved with supporting Berrien, perhaps? That they might be the people that are helping to fund Berrien even more. They just seem to be lining up. Do any of
They are a particularly not nice group of people, to put it lightly.
Then it would make sense.
They're quite greedy. They'll take advantage of chaos and social upheaval to get their hands on profit, no matter how much blood it costs to get their hands on it in the first place. And they are quite supportive of Lord Berrien. You know, he's in the past he defended their family from the Ailish, so they're quite loyal to him.
Lady Tula Delavaux was at the rally, wasn't she? Because that's what Gus told us.
Yeah, no, she wasn't there, but she was mentioned because of Gus.
Yeah, he was a servant of Lady Tula Delavaux.
Yes, I wondered why I'd heard that name before. And it seems my father's worked with them in some capacity as well, but you seem to know quite a lot about them in Kidu.
They were kind of training to be part of the Royal Guard, two of the two de Lavaux children. Very nasty bunch. Not very nice. Yeah, their whole families like to be wrapped up in serving their own self-interest rather than contributing to the greater good. But can't claim to know what she's up to nowadays, though.
No, but I think it's good to maybe keep them on our radar. I just got a gut feeling about them.
Yeah. We should definitely keep an eye out for them.
Aggie, take this down. We have a new enemy.
Aggie starts writing.
I could be barking up the wrong tree, of course, but I wonder if perhaps their relationship with Berrien might be the key to finding information that might bring him down.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Again, like I say, it's a hunch. I could be completely wrong, but I wanted to share my hunch with you all. I would be interested to know if any of you had some hunches or thoughts that you had going on. Obviously, Enkidu, you went away for some quiet time yesterday and just wanting to check in with where you're at.
Same old concerns, really. In this game of push and pull with these large powers that be and just not having enough tools to get what I'm going to say this, what I want, what I need, and things that can protect us as a group. Every time we try to take action rather than deliberate about who's got us in their power, it seems to just come back in our face. I just needed some time by myself. But I do have a hunch, like you said. Rings. I have a concern about him. Well, it's good that we have some kind of loose plan about, getting information from him tomorrow. Concerned that what he said, he will deal with anyone to get, to create some chaos, whether it's a lord in the Lord Assembly or the Hex themselves. Now, surely with what happened last night in Shadow 16, people will be on the move, right? I'm just concerned about what the Hex's movements are and the unspoken for members of the Children of Havoc, because we found Rings by himself. We didn't see anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm quite concerned where their eyes and ears and feet are, whether they're watching us or people around the town, and also Timon.
One of them is pretty familiar with us.
Yep.
As well.
Yes.
Being brought back to life and all.
Yeah.
So quite concerned about those guys.
Yeah.
Well, we just gotta keep them in mind. Like, the list of enemies grows, and we just don't have the answers. That's the problem. And, by us doing, more steps short, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But at least in the end, it's 1 step forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was beautiful, Guy. That was tattoo worthy.
Oh, wow.
Well, speaking of forward steps, I'm going to try something right now. And you'll stand up. And Kitty will stand up.
Gwendolyn will sit down. to give the space.
Huh. And Enkidu would just look.
Just giving you the floor.
Nudge. Yeah, he would acknowledge that.
Aggie, note whatever's about to happen.
Enkidu just eyes the goose. Now, I might have to disappear today for a few hours. Just one or two informants about the city I want to check in on. I promise I won't do anything risky or crazy on my own. But the less you know now, the better. And hopefully I'll come back to you with useful information that can keep us safe and informed.
Gwendolyn would like to do an insight check.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to
I'd hide
figure
help you
out.
in this, but-
Okay, yeah, I think Gwendolyn is trying to figure out how much is for us as a group comparatively to the group in his head. Whether I can tell that from what
Oh
he's
yeah,
saying.
when he's like saying us,
Like
protect
us. Is it us or is it his friends? I mean, we are his friends, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Is it the us that makes up his
Yeah.
person?
That's what I'm trying
Mm.
to gauge from him right now. Did I say insight? That's a 12.
Well, yeah, how much?
12? You could tell that this is coming from this is an attempt to be forthcoming, and maybe you can intuit that the fact that he's saying it at all is in his mind a progressive step somehow. Maybe you're not sure. It's a 12.
Okay.
Do we all get that impression, or just Gwendolyn?
Inside check.
Yeah, I'd say just Gwendolyn. It's hard to give like advantage on an insight check because it's like how much do you understand of a situation. So if you all want to make your own,
No, I mean, like,
You're welcome
what
to.
Gwendolyn gets from that. Do we get that he's like, this is growth for Enkidu to be filling us in on even this much?
do you know what it is? What's your passive insight?
12. I get exactly that.
14.
14. So Juna maybe reads a little bit more into it. Along the same kinds of lines, just like a more sort of solid understanding.
In that case, she's going to say to Enkidu, would you mind just taking Ruana with you? She doesn't have to be near you, but just so that I know that if anything happens to you, we can know. Please take
Yeah,
her.
of course.
Thank
of course. Oren, can I have a page out of your book, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip.
Thanks.
Hand over a page.
Just remember that we got a growing list of enemies, and eyes are on us whether we may know it or not. Just be careful and buy me something pastry-like, okay?
Of course. Of course.
Gwendolyn's been eyeing him and then just goes, "Thank you for letting us know." And she gives him a friendly punch in the shoulder.
And Cutie collapses.
Damn gosh, it's getting so hench.
Like those press-ups when I wasn't looking.
I know those hunches are giving their henches.
Thanks.
Then Juna's going to take her by the hand and say, take this. And you look at your hand and there's nothing, but she's giving you guidance.
Oh, wonderful. This shouldn't take long.
You going now? Is that what you were going to show us? Sorry.
Yeah, it's probably best I go now while it's early. I'll send a message once I'm done. The message will appear somewhere close to your person. And once Miss Septhorn sees it, she can probably cast message and tell me where you are, and I can join you for your spoons challenge or your library tour or whatever it is you guys decide to do today. But I figured the sooner I do this, the better.
Okay.
Okay.
Perhaps better to just be something like message me rather than anything with any details. My father was saying that the message that I sent him covered the whole ceiling and the floor above
Whoa.
because it was front
What?
to back. So, yeah,
Oh, no.
just to be careful with what we're doing with the paper.
I really hope no one is ever looking at someone when they see the message.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's dark.
It says a part of the spell on a surface, I think.
Yeah.
But then there's a person a surface.
Yeah, but what if if I wrote on it while I'm out and it appears in the pavement, would the entire street be able to see this giant message?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, he can always give it back if he doesn't use it. So,
Yeah.
I think a simple message me, and if I can't message you, I'll make sure I have enough capacity to do a sending.
okay. Give me 2 hours. If you don't hear from me from then.
Then I will send message anyway.
Yes.
I will look in the pastry shops. Don't worry.
I'll bring you the finest pastry this side of the shivered shore. Right.
He's going to clasp your cheek in a hand and say, I'll hold you to that, friend. I'll hold you to that.
Well, Enkidu, if you're going off doing that, do we want to head... I mean, is it sensible for us to head to slightly... so we know where we are, maybe to this first Spoons challenge? Then you can potentially meet us there after?
Yeah, it won't be too far. So...
Okay.
I'll probably fly
I'll
over.
send you a pin.
You probably can, actually. There's probably a way to do
cast WhatsApp.
that. Right. I'll see you all later. Ruana.
It's fine.
Tiny owl Ruana is going with
Yeah.
you.
Cool.
She's very pleased to be like having some like Enkidu Ruana time.
Yeah, I'll give him a little scritch and we'll head out.
Nice.
Before we head out, I feel like I've got a couple of new things that I'm able to do. And one of them is I sort of have this feeling that I might be able to ask some sort of question about the future. I don't know whether I'll get any useful information from it, but I feel like this might be the time to try maybe asking the flower what maybe security measures maybe like tomorrow or something like that might help us in some way.
Are you able to get specifics or something on that, or is it more just like a feeling?
I like I say it's new, but I sort of get this feeling. Oh, Vicky trying to justify spells again. That if I sort of asked on behalf of the flower a specific question, it would give me an answer. I don't know how specific or mysterious that answer might be, but I wondered whether it was worth asking the question and seeing.
Could I make a suggestion, gang? Which is
Not anymore. I've taken your ring.
That sounds so dirty.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
you can anytime, buddy.
that's true friendship.
That is true.
That is.
So, where are all these voices coming from my head? sorry, it just bounces in. An idea that might be here is that first we research in the libraries and things like that, and then we might want to know information that isn't available in a library through those means. Because it'd be annoying if you were like, oh, what's the guard situation?
Yeah.
And then we found in a book somewhere.
I would rather do it before tomorrow to save some of my magical power, but that sounds like a very good idea. I felt like I should share it, and like I say, I don't know how useful it would be.
That sounds really impressive.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey.
It's a little bit like Crowl and Lady Vondel, isn't it?
Where's the finger? Where's the finger that you've got?
It's less going to the future and more asking a destiny-based question.
Okay, as long as you don't find yourself in tomorrow.
What are you talking about? What's that, Ori?
No, don't worry
Tomorrow?
about it. I would never happen.
That would be ridiculous. I would follow you into tomorrow, though, Orin. I tell you that.
So, to be clear, we're going to go to Spoons. We're going to go to Spoons.
We're going to get a £5 breakfast.
We're going to do a curry Thursday.
God, I feel guilty, but it's so good. And then maybe Enkidu will see us there, maybe not. And then we go and do a bit of library, a bit of research. Maybe two of us go off and does an extra job. Yeah, City Hall.
Have some
And
information.
while we're going to the Spoons or afterwards, because that's in Newford, we could maybe just, if we happen to find ourselves walking down a street with some interesting looking buildings in it, let's keep our eyes open.
Yes?
Of course, yes, sir. The whole of Newford. We should probably explore it all, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
just who knows what interesting buildings there might be there.
Sorry, I'm just a bit confused. What's in Newford again?
That's where we're going to be going tomorrow.
Oh, fair play. Okay, cool. All right.
Before we go, sorry, I would rather try some new things today than tomorrow when we may be in combat. Would anyone mind having a tattoo today?
Sure, can we do one whilst we're travelling or whilst we're in the queue to find out about...
You'll get wiggly lines if you do it when you're travelling.
Oh.
Again, I can try it later, but I'd rather not try new magic in a pressurised situation whilst we do have time.
Okay, but Junior, you're telling us, one, you'd like to give us a tattoo, but two, you're not telling us why, and you're saying it's magical? Am I going to explode, or
No,
what?
What I would like to try is to see if I can put magic into another person.
That's a chat-up line I've used so
Okay.
many times. Look, if you just wanted to ask me, you could just ask me straight. I've always been attracted to older women, but
She takes Guy by the hand and she's got her tattoo stuff ready to go because she's been waiting to do this.
Whoa,
and she's
whoa,
just
whoa,
gonna tattoo.
whoa. Wait. Deli said that she was up for it.
All right, yeah, give me your hand then.
wait,
It won't take long.
Sure, but is it just anything? Do you have to know what it is now? We don't know.
What would you like to be able to do?
Well, I suppose it depends on what we're going to need to do when we get to these challenges today.
Very well. Yeah, it might come in more useful, mightn't it? For something that we need for the spoons.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Maybe save it.
Very
a lower
exciting.
pressure situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to try new magic that I don't fully understand. It just seems like a nice day to be trying new magic.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about experimenting, isn't it?
Oh, is this what it feels like to experiment?
Yeah.
Oh, feels good.
Guy opens the
Let's
door.
start making our way.
The spoons.
And Kidu jumped out the window 10 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
And then just as we go to leave, Aggie just prints out the last 10 minutes of conversation.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually quite dangerous.
Oh
We
no,
can't
we're going to
that
have
as a
to start
mechanism,
burning
'cause,
stuff that
Yeah.
Aggie's printing out if we're talking about some private
Or
things.
then blow torches it.
Great, cool.
So is the thing with Aggie that she prints everything out that ever happens?
No, only if I ask her to do a report.
Cool.
Or I can get a little full report the following morning after we've had a long rest of the previous day.
Grace here, keeping you updated with all things No Small Roles related. It's spooky season, so the perfect opportunity to tell you about Regarding Dracula, a bite-sized audio adaptation of the horror classic Dracula. This show takes the famous horror tale and breaks it up chronologically. Every time something happens to the characters, Regarding Dracula will publish a new episode. Some entries will be brief, and others will be long and intense. Sounds enticing, right? But wait, there's more. Our very own Ben Galpin has been cast as Jonathan Harker. Not too shabby, eh? To find out more and to support their crowdfunder, head to our show notes, where there are links aplenty to be clicked. Ben is also in a limited run of Unlocking Cannon's House, before he goes on to join Open Bar once more to reprise his role of Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. And this time, the ever-festive Vicky Gaskin will be joining him on tour. Of course, there'll be costumes from me and music from David. Want to see me on stage? Then head along to the Witches of Oz at the Vaults Waterloo. This camp and queer cabaret panto will be running until the 14th of January. Not to be missed, even if I do say so myself. For those of you signed up to our Patreon, we hope you're enjoying The Rambler's Rest, a new chat show led by our darling Daryl Bailey. These early few episodes will be Patreon exclusives, so if you want to listen, please head to www.patreon.com/no small roles. Someone who has done just that is the wonderful Robin the Fairy Bard, who was my delightful train buddy after a gig earlier this year. Thank you for taking a nerdy drag king up on his podcast recommendations. Big love and big rolls to you. Well, that's all from me for now. Let's get you back to the city.
To the Noble's Nook.
To the Noble's
To the
Nook.
Noble's Nook.
Oh, look, the Noble's Nook.
Oh, look. And yeah, it takes you probably about an hour to get there. You ask for directions, but
Is there any
it's
public
fairly well
transport,
known.
David?
There are carts around that are ferrying people if you'd rather pay for one.
Don't we have our horses and cart?
Oh, we could use our own horses.
Just use your own horses if you wanted to.
Let's get Pip and Lord Crumpet out. Let's drive there.
I
I'm not
forgot we
walking
called
an
them
hour
that.
ago.
I completely forgot that.
Yeah, girls. Yeah.
Like halves the time. Half the
Okay,
time.
great,
There's
thank
still
you.
a little bit of like trying to find your way because
Traffic, parking.
traffic, parking.
Why did they drive on the other side of the street here?
Yeah.
I
all that
said we
stuff.
should have stopped and asked for directions.
But you pull up, and the Noble's Nook is not a nook. It is a very large leisure compound.
Oh.
It is there. It's like a massive. It's like 3 or 4 taverns have like knocked through walls and
Wow.
sort of conjoined themselves. There's a massive archway leading into a huge courtyard. There's eateries. There's like an in-house brewery. There are rooms for hire. In the center of this courtyard, there's a little petanque terrain where people like playing like. It's not quite bowls. It's petanque. It's French.
Donk.
Badonk.
It's the noise it makes as you throw the balls. Anyway, in this sort of courtyard space, before you even have to get into it, like it's hustling and bustling, but there is a table set up in the courtyard with a Twain-Tide Tea Tournament banner hanging off of the front of it. There are 2 sort of pale humans sat there. One of them's got rather unfortunate eyebrows, and the other one has got a coffee stain down their top. And they don't really seem to be talking to each other.
Oh no. One's thrown coffee at the other.
There's
The other has shaved the other's eyebrows.
and
Spin-off episode.
they're sitting there watching you try to like navigate your horses and car around like the bustle of this courtyard. But who approaches them?
I'd like to approach them and say, "What happened here?
Sorry, what?
What happened here?"
This is the Twain-Side Tea Tournament. Are you signed up or?
Right, we're doing that then. Yes, we are signed up.
Yeah, great. Well, go on then. Are you gonna? Like, they turn. No, they turn to the. This is the coffee stain one. Turns to the other one, who's like, "Oh, I suppose I'll give them all the information then, will I?" Oh, it's bloody me, isn't it? Starts like rustling bits of paper and is like,
Thank you so much.
hands you a small map with a list of the challenges. These are your challenges for the Twain-Tide 2 tournament here in Forlost Vale. We have 4 possible spoons to win. Whilst you are here, there is the history lesson, the mage's trial, the duck hunt, and the watchman. You can compete in them in any order, but the same rules apply. As with previous places, you can only attempt each one once per member of the team. You must have your stamps on you to confirm that you have attempted.
Thank you, Michael Caine.
He is getting like that, isn't he? Yeah, you must have your stamps on you to compete.
Thank you very much.
That was very well explained.
What is your team name? Sorry.
Go on, Orin. Go on, Orin.
The Abracalads.
Yeah.
Every time someone says it, Guy strums like a chord, like a majestic chord that just oozes out confidence.
Oh,
Abracalads.
And it's spelt with a star and a lightning.
It's all right. I've got the spell in here.
Okay.
I'll mark you off.
And Kidu has a skip somewhere.
And you notice actually that in front of him he's got the full list of team names.
Oh.
And so finds you.
Do we
with
do
a
we
star.
recognise any of them? Did we know the name of?
Firion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we know their team name? No, we didn't, did we?
Nah.
No.
how
No.
many
Okay,
teams
just the team
seem
names.
to be on the list out of interest?
Loads.
There are there's probably about 40, 50
Fuck.
teams. Some of them have been crossed out, you know.
Oh.
Why are those ones crossed out?
They have either withdrawn from the competition or have been disqualified in one way or another.
Ooh. Gosh, you run a tight ship, don't you?
There's a glance between them again.
Mhm.
I don't run a tight ship.
It's just an expression.
I'm not a sailor.
I didn't say you were.
You said I ran a tight ship.
It's just a turn of phrase. I can see why you two get on so well. She smiled.
Oh my gosh.
It's lovely to meet you. What are your names, just out of interest?
I'm Joe. This is Mo.
Mojo.
So glad I
Of course
asked.
it is.
Yes.
So, Mo, where would you recommend like we go for the first spoon trial? Like, what's nearest?
So what is nearby? The history lesson takes place at the Very Thorn Academy in Governor's Mile. You can attempt that there, or you can head to Arkenwell, to the training chamber on the outskirts of the Arcanist Consortium. That is also not too far from you, from us. The duck hunt, I will give no information about. And the Watchman, you are to head to Ash Gate.
Okay, so like
Thank
in
you.
theory, we could do the Arkenwell one gang, and then maybe do some things around there that we want to do today, and then maybe if we wanted to swing by the Ash Gate, and then head on back to rest up, maybe.
Yeah. And there was that history lesson one. Where was that one? Sorry, that was in where?
That was at the Verithorn Academy in Governor's Mile.
Oh, okay. So we could do the Arkenwell one on the way there.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Okay.
And
If
as
you
we're
were so inclined,
in
yes.
Newford, is there anywhere that you would recommend looking around? I think there's lots of posh houses around here, aren't there?
Yeah, if you're interested in local history, I would suggest just passing through Newford Park. There is a lovely estate there.
Oh yes,
where,
anybody famous?
Yes, it is the residence of one of the high circle of the Arcanist Consortium.
Oh,
Really?
Yes, it is a tourist hotspot, as you can imagine. So, if you were so inclined, you could go that way.
Oh wow. Which member of the High Circle?
A member of the High Circle lives there,
wow.
I think.
Wow.
Do you assume that I know them?
Well, I mean,
Well,
they're
it
famous.
just sounded like a tourist spot.
It is a tourist spot. I've been told that it's a tourist spot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and is it like, do you get on like a tour or do you just have a walk up?
Well, I've not been on a tour, so I don't know if you could just get on a tour. Is there like a tour? Is there a tour?
I don't know. Is there?
Maybe ask Mo, because he sounds like he's a bit more well informed around these parts.
He's not.
Hey Mo, what do you think?
I don't think. Shoots a look over at Joe. I try not to think.
Great. Well, if you could just point us in the direction of Newford Park.
Yeah.
Yes, so you just want to head straight out here and then round the corner to the park.
Great.
Lovely. Thank you very much. You've both been very helpful.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You're welcome and good luck with the Twain Tide Tea Tournament.
Thank you.
High five.
No.
Okay.
I really enjoyed Joe and Mo.
I love Joe and Mo so much.
All right. We drive Pip and Lord Crumpet round to Newford
Newford Park.
Newford Park,
as we're going
yeah.
past. Yes. Let's do the touristy things.
Yeah, it's really not far at all before you start seeing, like, the road widens out to allow for a lot more pedestrians to walk through. But even then, there are carts passing through the park. You can tell that the people that are sort of driving that way tend to be less like merchants and traders and more people going for a more scenic route through the city, which you fall into suit with quite easily. The park itself is very well kept. It's clearly a public park, but at the same time is manicured lawns and prepared flowers, and the trees are trimmed. There's no toll gate letting you in. It's completely free for everybody. There's a few people's having like picnics and things, sort of early, late morning picnics.
Oh, look, they look like they're celebrating 1 year of a podcast.
We'll be past 2 years by the time this comes out.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh my god.
So, but as you sort of drive through, what you do realise is that the park is built around a large estate in the centre of it. There is a high wall sort of encircling a building, which you can't really get too much of a glimpse on from where you've come in. As you sort of circle round this wall, And there are lots of people sort of ambling about, trying to peer through. The wall itself it's probably about 15 feet high. It's just made of white stone, but there are no entrances apart from one wide archway. You manage to do an entire loop of the thing, and again, there is a path that kind of encourages people to do a tour in that way. As you sort of come round to the archway, though, you notice that there isn't a gate on it in any way, and in fact, there are a group of teens out the front trying to throw rocks through the archway, and they just keep bouncing off of an invisible barrier. And occasionally one of the kids tries throwing it over the archway, same thing happens.
David, I'm just gonna step off the carts, just pick up a nearby stone or a bit of rubble from the cobblestones and just lob it over the wall. Not the arch, but over the wall. What happens?
Yeah, you kind of walk, we'll say sort of 20 feet round away from the arch. And as you throw it, exactly the same thing happens. It kind of bounces, and there is the smallest of shimmers, of translucent shimmers, but the rock bounces not in any dangerous way that it starts flying into other people passing by. It kind of hits it and drops down toward to the ground. The only other interesting thing about the archway itself is that emblazoned in brass above it are the words Chargelt Hall. And aside from that, you can see through the archway towards the house itself. So yeah, if you did want to get down and sort of have a closer look.
Chargelt Hall.
Gelt Hall.
Yeah.
Do we
Does
know
that
who
name
or
ring a
what
bell?
the
Yes, it
Chargelt
does.
is? Yes.
It's one of the high table.
It's not one of the high table,
Oh,
but
no,
you
it's
do
not.
recognise the name.
Isn't it the founding member?
Yup.
Oh.
Yeah, the very first seat of the High Circle in the Arcanist Consortium was deposed, but she was still given the honour of a burial within the grounds of the Consortium.
Which isn't the consortium's in the Vale though, not in Newford Park.
Yeah, so they are not buried
So
here.
this is
Why- she
her
was buried
house.
somewhere else.
But what?
Yeah.
A kid is not here. This is Daryl's. But, yeah, this would be her house, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's been preserved.
named after her, like Elizabeth Tower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it could have been her house.
Oh yeah.
A hall is something which could be passed down or
Yeah.
preserved for like a heritage house or something. I guess you'll find out when you get through.
But yeah, anyone peering through the archway, you can just see a well-tended garden, sort of low shrubberies and things. There's a statue of a rearing lion at the center of it. And then beyond that is quite a wide building, not particularly tall. It's only maybe got 2 floors, sort of high-ceilinged floors, you can imagine. But you can see a ground floor and a first floor. All made of grey stone, large windows, from what you can see, again, on every wall and in every looking, you assume, into every room. There are heavy curtains drawn across every single window, so you can't see in. From a look, as close as you can get to the archway. And there is a crowd of people sort of trying it the same, having a bit of a nose, going, oh yeah, a bit of history, lovely, before making their way on. So it's not odd for any of you to approach.
Are the guards around, or people inside the house, inside the grounds?
Make a perception check.
That is a 17.
17. There's definitely nobody that you can see, especially not in the garden area. As you try to get a beat on if anyone's in the house, there is a bit of a twitch of a curtain at one point. But again, you don't actually see anyone. You just see a bit of a rustle as you assume somebody's kind of walking past the curtain as they're about their business. So there are people inside, you can assume.
Okay. This is amazing. I could look at this for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's me too. I wonder if we see a celebrity through the window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hang around for 10 or 11 minutes
let's
and
see
have a
if we
watch.
can see a celeb.
Oren starts fiddling with his goggles.
Nice, yeah. Gwendolyn, kind of as they're having that conversation, kind of goes, do you, it's just to whoever nearest passerby, do you know which celebrity lives here?
There's a kind of another orcish woman who's She is almost as dressed up as you used to be,
Ooh.
but not quite. She says, "Oh yes, dear, this is where Archmagus Petrogranius lives. Isn't it fabulous?
Oh, it is absolutely divine.
Oh my god.
Glorious. Obviously, I wish I could see inside, but just this little view is lovely.
Isn't it just? I just wish I could. I mean, do you know any way of being able to get in?
Only with her invitation, I'm sure.
Oh my.
Oh, I don't know. I would love it.
Oh my goodness, yes, I would. Where are you from?
Oh, not too far. Oathhold.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that is far, but I live in town.
Oh, of course, yes. Well, you certainly look like you live in town, don't you?
Oh, thank you, dear. It's a little out of season, but I appreciate it. Yes, no, it is lovely. I mean, can you just imagine how the whole hall is decorated?
Goodness, does she ever throw any balls or anything like that?
Well, not for me. I can be certain.
Well, you never know. You can live in hope, can't you, dear?
Live and hope. That's what we say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, lovely to meet you, dear.
Lovely to meet you too.
She moves on.
Gwendolyn whispers to Juno, "What a bitch."
You just hear walking away. Oh my god, those bloody clothes, joggers in this weather. So I assume you're casting Identify, or
Well,
or what are you casting?
I would like first, please, to cast magical detection, please, to suss out what is magical that's clearly a magical barrier. And then I would specifically like to see if I can figure out where it is coming from. Mm-hmm. And once I've done that, if we are not, if people are hanging around and there isn't any sort of, there's lots of people hanging around having a good mooch. Yeah. If there is still 10 minutes of time where we're not going to look suspicious, I might then want to identify the source, if I can locate the source.
So from initial detection, it's very obvious. It's an abjuration shield. As for specific source, you actually can't get a beat on anything magical going on beyond the barrier. Yeah. So it's quite hard to tell. It definitely seems to be emanating from the walls itself, which would explain why above the walls as well, it's kind of the barrier continues.
Yeah. So the walls themselves are also magically protected in the same way as above them.
Yeah, exactly. Or at the very least, you can sense that the same shield travels within the wall.
Yeah.
So even if the outside can be broken a little bit, and there is the odd crack here and there, it's very definite that you're not, even if you could get through like a layer of brick, you're not going to get any further.
Yeah. And just out of interest, because magical detection can go down within 3 foot of wood or dirt, does the barrier extend below the wall?
It does,
foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 3 foot. It kind of, I imagine, almost like you're where the extents of your vision in that kind of like fade out. You can see that it's fading out and carrying on.
It's carrying on. Oh. It's a really fascinating building.
Yes.
If you did want to cast Identify on the area, you do have time, I would say. Like having a look around, there are people that have been there since before you were sort of gathered.
Okay.
That aren't making any moves. There's quite a lot of hubbub and chat around this area.
Yeah, I'll sort of move around a little bit, and maybe I'll just sort of go and inspect the brickwork somewhere and sort of gently spend 10 minutes pulling out the pearl and just having a good old look.
Yeah.
Juna's going to like stick by Orion and be a bit like chatty with people around so he doesn't look like he's just picking out a pearl. Be like, oh, have you ever seen her in real life? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you start to get details on the wall itself. It is actually quite a basic barrier. It is detecting for fast-moving objects. It's detecting for people approaching, like unauthorized people approaching. But what you, in a comforting way, you realize that if you were not detectable, it wouldn't be an issue.
If, say, we were invisible just for the sake of argument.
Yeah. If you were in some way unseen by magic, the way that this whole wall is constructed, it wouldn't recognize you.
We were, say, invisible and unscryable.
Yeah.
What out. Oh no, I'm not. This is in your head, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying
Yeah,
this out
sort of,
loud
this is
anywhere
this
near.
is
Yeah.
this is you like visualizing all of the scribbles and like how the magic works.
I will be filling everyone in later in the cart. The moment this is yes. Okay, so if it can't detect us, I think it won't stop us.
That's what you can gather.
Interesting. Just one final thing, and if it just sort of acts to bounce something off if it does detect it. It doesn't like inflict damage or.
No, it doesn't. And like even a few people are walking up and like leaning against it, and there's like a bit of like a buzz with them, but there's nobody's getting hurt in any way.
Cool. Thank you.
Do they look like
Apart
they're
from
enjoying
the
it?
small projectiles of like rocks coming off of it.
And the occasional bird.
Yeah. Not necessarily enjoying it, but it's really not causing anyone discomfort.
We don't want to give it a go though, just for funsies.
I mean, you can if you like.
They don't look like they're having fun now.
Oren, are you you finished sightseeing, buddy?
Oh yeah, all good. Yeah, lovely.
Well, I'm so glad we came, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
It's in the house of a celebrity.
I know. Yeah. I think I saw a window twitch. Oh, curtain.
During that time when Oren's been doing all that, can Gwendolyn have asked Guy to use his very good looking at things perception to see if he can see any roses or anything anywhere security-wise?
Any roses?
Symbol of the roses.
Is safe, you know. Can you've got such good eyes, and I wonder if you're looking through the gate, you see that lion over there. I just wonder if, I mean, you know, how I know it's far away, but he's got good perception.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. Let me have a look. See here.
Or even if it
I'll
just
say-
looks similar in style to the dragon at the Mondale.
I'll say you can have advantage on it as sort of the three of you are
Pointing it out. And...
Cool.
pointing it out and discussing things and listening to other people's conversations and that. Yeah.
Guy's gonna close his fake eye and look really carefully.
Oh yeah, he's got such a
Yeah,
good
there's one eye. Yeah.
perception. Yeah, still better perception than my two eyes.
Oh, it's good. That's gonna be a 23.
Abracalad.
That's my favourite number.
Roll a natural 19, son.
Natural Nadine.
So, whilst you don't see any specific rose symbols, as you are looking at this lion, yeah, you get the sense that it could be. There's something about it, like it does seem to match the dragon in the Vondel's Folly. There is as you're looking at it, you're like that feels, that looks. You can almost see like joins in the stonework of it that you're like that can move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll just be like to Gwendolyn. Oh wow, yeah, like you gotta admire the craftsmanship. I'm sure it's similar to something that we've seen before.
Oh yes. Well, we do like to go and see great craftsmanship, don't we?
It's like beautiful. The masonry almost makes it feel like, you know, it can move. It's madness.
Oh gosh, yes. And she's nodding with like eyes and wide eyebrows, like I understand.
It's like that book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Cupboard.
Yes.
A courtyard full of statues.
We get on the cart.
Yeah, please do.
Please, let's go.
Let's escape from the C.S. Lewis estate.
I've been there. It's quite nice. Anyway,
To the spoons.
Oh, look, the spoons.
To the spoons.
yeah. So which one are you heading to first?
Oh,
By the Arkan Well.
yeah, the Arkenwell one is the nearest one, I think, from
Yeah,
what
and then
we
you've
were
got the
told.
Baden Vale, and then there's one by Ashford Gate. I can't remember what the other one
Was
is.
there one in Newford?
No, so there was the training chamber in Arkenwell. There's Verithorn Academy in Governor's Mile. There is the Duck Hunt,
Oh yeah, the duck hunt
in which you are given
about.
no information about,
Okay, so hang on. So there's the Duck Hunt, no info.
and the Watchman at Ashgate.
The Watchman at Ashgate.
Ever since Joe said that, Guy has been keeping an eye out for anything that is duck related in the architecture or anything like that.
Make a perception check. No, an investigation check, I would say.
Looking out for those ducks.
Them dukes. My investigation is a 12.
12. No ducks, unfortunately.
No ducks.
No.
But a goose.
Even asking around a little bit, You just get some strange looks. I mean, there are some ducks in the park, but no duck work in the architecture as you're traveling.
Cool. Good to know.
They're a clue. So we weren't even told where the duck hunt happens, correct?
No, they were really like sassy about it. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Okay, so Arkenwell is our nearest.
Should we go there?
Yeah.
The training chamber.
All right, we make for the training chamber in Arkenwell.
Yeah. And as you sort of work your way through Arkenwell and approach the northern end of the Arcanist Consortium, you see a very large hall labelled the training chamber. But Enkidu,
Yeah.
Hello.
you have you've made your way down to Flodthorpe.
Mm-hmm.
You've asked around a little bit, subtly, to find the Queen's Comb.
Yep.
And what you find, interestingly, is a warehouse.
Damn it.
With a large web of hexagons painted on the side of it
Whoa.
to represent honeycomb.
Oh, right, yeah, of course, Queen Bee.
But yeah, lots of six-sided shapes, all on like this sort of wall and like wide open doors of this warehouse, which as you sort of approach it, you just get a very strong whiff of honey.
Okay, cool.
The doors are open, and you look in, and it is very much a factory floor of people processing honeycomb and jarring it up, sort of doing the whole process of taking honey from the bees, melting it down, purifying it, straining it, putting it into jars, labeling it up, and from the door, you're a little bit confused at the whole situation.
I'm gonna give Rwana a look, but I'll keep speaking to Rwana. Going from previous experiences, I guess this must be a front, as it were. The painting outside is to give anyone in the know the indication that certain six-sided friends are here, but for anyone passing by, well, they find this a honey-making factory. So, why don't we venture in deeper, see if we can find anyone willing to talk about anything off the book, eh? I'll just walk in, go inside, keep my eyes open.
The first few people, kind of, you can clearly tell that they are just labourers in their own way. They're just focusing on their task in this process. Completely ignore you as you walk in. Eventually, somebody does kind of like drop out of line, seeing you just wandering through. That they kind of like, yeah, you're right, mate. They've got like proper, like sort of overalls on, gloves on to make sure their hands don't get sticky.
I was have an appointment. I was told to drop by. Someone will say hello.
Who's that with then?
We didn't share any names.
All right. Sounds about right. Yeah, follow me. Jerry, look after Mark. All right, good. All right. Yeah, this way. And kind of starts leading you, winding you through this factory. It's an open space. So even as you're getting further inside, you can still, whilst there are a lot more obstacles in your way, you can still see the door out.
Okay.
Eventually, though, he does lead into a sort of a small set of corridored rooms, just at the back, little offices, and sort of comes to one, knocks on the door. There's no response, so opens it up. It's just a standard little office, sort of two chairs on one side of a desk, one chair on the other one. Sort of a vent in the ceiling that's kind of like whirring around. The smell of honey through the place. And he goes, yeah, you good to wait here? I'll go let people know.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Kind of stands back, lets you in, closes the door, locks it, walks away.
Okay. I'm going to go to the other side of the desk.
Yeah.
What do I see?
Make an investigation check.
Can I have advantage thanks to Rwana?
Yeah, I will. I'll let you have advantage.
Oh, one was a natural 1, the other was 18. Okay.
Yay, Rwana!
Whoa,
Ruana.
Minus
loves
one.
her
So it's a
some
17.
Enkidu.
It's a 17 because of minus one.
Yeah, I'll say you're looking at the desk and like you're like, yeah, office, desk, chairs. Clearly this is just like a small meeting room, whatever. Ruana kind of like hops down onto the floor and starts pecking at something and hooting away at you.
Okay.
And you notice that all of the chairs and the desk are all bolted to the floor.
Okay, cool. Any papers or anything like that?
No, you kind of get the impression there's maybe like a hot desking type of a...
Oh, no.
Not hot seat, sure. Hot desking type of...
Yeah, no.
Like this is like just a room that like people use for a quick meeting, not necessarily a working office.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try to pick the lock on the door.
Cool, yeah, please do.
No, she's a bird. She can't really help.
You can't necessarily help with that, no.
Yeah. She sticks her talons in.
It's not good. It's a natural 4. No matter what I add to that, it will be pants.
Okay. So yeah, you give it a try. But something... Maybe they've like left a key in the other side, perhaps?
Sure.
Or like something's just blocking that last little bit of like getting it through. Can you make an intelligence saving throw, please?
Oh, shoot.
That's a 2 minus 1.
No, non-natural.
Can Ruana make one as well, please?
That's a natural 2.
Oh, you rolling for Ruana?
Oh, would
I'll let Vicky roll.
yeah.
If that had been good, I would have been like,
Saving.
Yeah.
natural 20!
Yes.
Vicky is holding it up for the camera.
It's minus 4, so good job it's a natural 20.
Oh man.
As you kind of like pull away from the door, going, yeah, that's not a way out. Just the vent above, there's just like a churning, pulsing noise starts like whirring inside of it. And then as you turn to kind of like understand what that noise is, you feel your body stop moving.
Question: is this poison?
Nope.
Okay.
This is a paralysis.
Oh!
Okay.
And then the floor opens. The entire room, all of the desks, all of the chairs stay bolted where they are, but the entire floor, boosh, opens up.
That's why they're bolted.
Can you make... oh no, you're paralyzed.
paralyzed,
So you
so
fail
I'll just-
a dex save.
I'll just drop.
You just drop 100 feet into the darkness.
100 feet.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna roll some dice. Excuse me.
No, don't you.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god. Why do we never let Enkidu go anywhere on his own
Does
ever
Ruana
again?
fall? Because if Ruana is not falling, she is
Ruana's
like
flying, isn't she?
back to us to tell us what's going on.
She flies. Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
She's a flying thing, so she's not paralyzed, she's just flying. Yeah.
Owl, not owlbear, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Enkidu has the paper. Enkidu has the paper. Enkidu has the
Yeah, I'm
paper.
probably dead.
Not again.
Oh, Grace.
Not again.
I don't have that many hit points to survive that much dice, dude.
I think of prepping Featherfall, but I mean that won't help you because I'm not there.
Well, Daryl's just going to have to prep another character, so...
Okay, do you know, you might be, I don't actually know what your hit points are. You might be okay. So, 100-foot fall, it's a d6 for every 10 feet, so it's 10d6.
I'll survive.
And I have rolled up 44 points of damage.
I'm alright.
So, yeah, it is a shock. Whoosh, like, you fall down, you hit stone at the bottom. Is Ruana going down into the pit, or is she staying in the room? That's what I want to know.
What happens to the floor? Does it like stay open in a pit?
Falls open, and it does start closing again.
Fly, you fool!
Yeah, I think
Oh,
she
you're
is flying
paralysed.
back. She's no, she's not paralyzed.
No,
is
she's
she?
not.
She's not.
She's flying back. She needs to get. She Ruana can't handle this.
Well, but there's no windows, and the only way out is a vent or a locked door.
Oh, then she's going to fly down into the pit. If there's no way out, she's going to have to stay with Enkidu.
Okay. So yeah, she like sort of drops down just under the floor as it sort of snaps shut again. Enkidu, yeah, all you see is the light of the room above just sort of like disappear as it's closed. You do see Ruana kind of floating down towards you. Then again, you're stuck where you are, paralyzed.
Right. Great.
A lantern comes around the corner, and whilst you can't turn to see it, you can feel it like the light fill up the space, this almost like sewer-like room that you're now in, and just like drops on the floor next to you. And then leaning over your face is a burn-scarred tiefling with beetle-like horns.
Mother.
Oh no!
Who like grimaces.
Sorry, I'm being really thick.
Malleus.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to end the episode.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, we trusted you to be cool. Daryl, what have you got us into, mate?
You have been listening to David Knight as your Dungeon Master, Ben Galpin as Orin, Chris Watts as Gaius, Daryl Bailey as Enkidu, Grace Kelly Miller as Gwendolyn, and Vicky Gaskin as Juna. Original music by David Knight. Please tell your friends, subscribe, and follow us on all social media. Thank you for listening to No Small Roles. Anon for now.
6th of November. It was late in the afternoon when the Professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming. We did not go far.
11th of October, evening. Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept. I think none of us were surprised when we were asked to see Mrs. Harker a little before the time of sunset. We have of late come to understand that sunrise and sunset are to her times of particular.
25th of September, 6 o'clock. Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. You may sleep without doubt. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life.
24th of August. I must imitate Mina and keep writing things down. Then we can have long talks when we do meet. I wonder when it will be. I wish you were here with me again. I feel
On July 6th, we finished taking in cargo. Silver, sand, and boxes of earth. At noon, set sail. East wind.
25th of May. My dear Arndt, we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds after trying to land...
3rd of May. Bistritz. I had for dinner, or rather, supper, a chicken, done up some way with red pepper. Memorandum, get recipe for Mina. I asked the waiter, and he said it was called Paprika Hendel.
Regarding Dracula will be a chronological adaptation of Bram Stoker's Gothic masterpiece.
We need your blood, help, to get this adaptation out of its coffin and into your podcatcher of choice.
Visit bit.ly/ReDracula to invite this podcast into your home.
The stakes are high because this is an all-or-nothing project.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.